and all that, so get the new stuff ready to go real quick. Hi guys, I'm Nick.
I'm Alan.
I'm Joe.
And welcome back to the Casually Hardcore podcast. Incredibly to think, man, that this is the final episode of the first season. I can't believe it's already been 6 episodes. What do you guys think about that? It's pretty crazy, huh?
I mean, it started out as a little school project, and then became a side project, and now we're getting picked up by KUST. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is our first time recording in the studio, and as you can tell, we sound way better now. Maybe Joe sounds a little bit less, but you know, it's definitely shown how far we've gotten from the first episode in the library with the snowball all the way to where we're at now. One little side note too, Eric won't be able to join us this episode due to he can't fit. He could fit
in the little studio.
in the studio, but he has some prior obligations. But today's theme will be Remeberance is the title, and we're going to talk a little bit about our memories through our podcast and what we've done, the games we've played, and kind of go a little bit down a nostalgia trip. And then towards the end of it, we're going to talk about the news, about our show coming up in the fall for next semester, what we're going to be doing over the summer, and kind of give you guys what we're going to do, and we'll talk more about that towards the end. But we'll start off like usual on the gaming news trend. So what are you guys interested in this week? What's been going on that's right, on the top of your mind?
Nintendo Switch receiving another Wii U game.
Oh, really? Which Wii U game?
Shantae Half Genie Hero.
Oh, okay, one of the Shantae games. Well, she's finally come back to handhelds then, technically, considering Switch is a hybrid, right?
Yeah.
Saw that Switch is actually doing really, really well. Mario Kart 8 sales are skyrocketing. Yeah, it's
because of exclusively because of Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Really?
Because the problem with Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, which I have, is that it has battle modes, but they're just on normal racetracks,
right?
Which is super boring. But the new one has dedicated tracks for it, and a bunch of new modes, and it's awesome.
I'm just happy that my boy Dry Bones is back.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of cut characters in that, but you saw the sales charts in UK. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe outsold Prey. And that's a huge AAA Bethesda game, and you're talking about a re-release from 4 years ago with an added DLC, technically expansion on. So that just shows the power of what the Switch is kind of going on right now.
Yeah, but I mean, Mario Kart 8 can't ever compete with Mario Kart Double Dash.
Okay, let's not.
Now it can.
See, no, now it can. I mean,
you can hold 2 items.
Oh, you can hold 2 items.
Yeah, you can go. It's going back to it, man.
But can you switch racers? All right.
No.
Tell me, what use did that have?
It was cool because you got 2 characters in one cart. That was a cool mechanic.
Also, each character had a specific special item that was designated to them, which they got rid of in later games.
Broken.
It was not broken.
Whoever got
fun
Toadette
as hell.
won.
Nah, Toadette is
why?
garbage.
Because Toadette had the golden shroom.
Okay.
Everybody else was useless.
That's okay.
No, what are you talking about?
The only good character, so whoever got Toadette is just winner automatically.
Okay, well, all right, fair enough. Anybody that had Toadette in that game basically won. There's no denying that. Or the Piranha Plant, the big fat thing they had on there, because he would just bite people. I
mean, they also had the Chain Chomp with the baby characters.
It's terrible. It's a terrible power.
I don't know.
All right, well, going off of bashing Double Dash here real quick, another thing that's been going on in the gaming world is Square Enix dropped IO Interactive. And those are the guys that make the Hitman series. So Square Enix is no longer the owner of the Hitman IP.
Really?
Yes.
They lost the IP of that?
They're selling it with the studio. So they're trying to sell it to potential investors, and rumors have it that Microsoft's looking into it, Deep Silver's looking into it, and potentially EA for a Hitman series. So I don't know what that means for season 2 of this new Hitman game. I was kind of following that series, kind of saying, hey, I might pick it up at the end once all the DLC is done. But that's kind of concerning, I mean, that's a great IP.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting how other companies sort of take it and make it their own. Because the Hitman series has, it's a very...
I was supposed to say that.
What?
Nothing.
Oh, nothing.
I haven't signed anything yet.
Okay. The Hitman series has these core mechanics, right, that make it a Hitman game, which is stealth, and then, perfecting a mission, which is not killing anybody except the target. And I don't know if that's going to change with other companies.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I know a lot of companies are slowly starting to change from this old arcade. We talked about DLC last week to this new live service model. So like Gears of War and Overwatch we talked about last week, and how they're constantly opening their games with DLC. And this is what the Hitman game kind of did with each week or each couple months. They release a new, mission pretty much, and all the things themed around it. But I don't know with games like that where single player focused, that works really well. multiplayer that works just because people are always constantly playing and it's updating. It's a different, aspect. But with this is the single player experience that you're getting in portions.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's why this experiment kind of failed a little bit,
Apparently, Alan Wake, due to music licenses, will not be purchasable on Steam after May 15th.
Wait, why?
Wow. Oh, because it's just with gaming in general, licensing agreements starting to fade out. I mean, that's why the old Forza car franchise, some of the old music cars and all that stuff, like those racing games aren't available anymore, is because of the licensing issue with music and models and all that. So, I mean, if you haven't played Alan Wake yet, go out and get it right now. It's a fantastic game.
90% off.
Oh, wow. How much does it cost
all
then?
of them are 90%. I don't know.
I mean, we're going to have there's a lot of stuff going on right now for our cheap gaming section. I think Alan Wake is going to be huge. I personally love Remedy.
I haven't played any of them.
Well, Alan Wake's really good. Alan Wake, the Nightmare one is really good. I just played Quantum Break, started that up, and that's really good. But Remedy Studios has typically been one that's always been kind of partnered, like a second-party studio for Microsoft.
Yeah.
But now they've been funded by other investors, and they're starting to create their own engine for all platforms. So if you're on Sony, or like a big PlayStation guy, or if you're on PC now, you can actually play these new releases that they're going to launch all day one. So that should be really interesting to see how kind of they go forward. But did you see about the fail about Mass Effect Andromeda, about how the studio that made it got put back into a supporting role studio, and the Mass Effect series has got put on ice? They put on hiatus, quote unquote. Was
Well,
what
I mean,
investor
it's
called it.
kind of deserved for the studio. The animation was really subpar. The story was okay.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as good as we expected it to be.
I just feel like a franchise as big as Mass Effect, every installment has to be of quality of either greater proportion or in a different sense. And this Andromeda felt like a cheap spin-off series. And you can't do that for a franchise this well-known. And giving a top-tier franchise to your B-team studio right out the gate, terrible idea. So I'm glad Mass Effect has kind of been put on hiatus a little bit. I think the series needs time to kind of cool off a little bit after the ending of 3 and this disappointment, because if they keep releasing games like Andromeda, they're going to kill that brand.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible universe. I think it's got rich of storytelling, but I think they just went the wrong direction for Andromeda.
Yeah.
Also, May 16th, Injustice 2 comes out.
Oh, I'm so pumped for that. I watched some of the leaked Joker trailers. Dude, he looks sick, dude.
There's a lot of stuff that looks actually amazing about that game.
Did you watch the leaked first opening of the campaign?
Yeah.
How was that, dude? That was
beautiful.
Yeah, it's Brainiac basically. Spoilers, lots of spoilers here, but basically Brainiac's taking over Krypton, and you get to see a little bit of that, and then you get to see kind of this. Oh, Damian Wayne, he betrays Batman. So I was a little dramatically there, but I know one thing I've been reading a lot about is E3's coming up, and I'm so pumped for that. Is there any games that you guys are looking forward to be announced at E3, or any speculation possibly for E3 for this year?
Well, no Nintendo is going to be there, so that's going to be different because they always do the Nintendo Direct. But
we'll probably see something cool with that.
I want to see a little bit more. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Okay. What was it? I want to see a little bit more of The Last of Us 2.
Yep.
And maybe
Nintendo.
By
Nintendo. It's gonna be all in one. Every company together in one giant conference showcase. You get 2 games per company.
And I want to see a little bit more of God of War.
Yep. Well, speak of God of War, the rumors are that's being delayed till 2018 because the voice actor put in his resume that God of War released put God of War 2018 as part of his projects he's currently working on, and he's the guy that's voicing Kratos, the new voice actor for Kratos. But what if there's any game that you would like hypothetically want announced? What would it be? I know Joe's dying for something over here.
Well, I see this article here. Apparently, according to developer of Ori and the Blind Forest, which is a weird place to jump off from, he says is 99% certain we'll see Bloodborne 2 at E3. Which is a weird thing because he seems completely unrelated. Like, I think they're independent developers and certainly not part of FromSoft.
Yeah.
But if that is right, also supposedly, Miyazaki will not be connected, which sounds like a terrible idea. Because the last time we had a
Dark Souls 2, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 2 didn't have Miyazaki at first, and people liked it, but not nearly as much as the other ones.
Yeah.
So, I also don't know if Bloodborne should have a sequel. I don't think it really is a world that makes sense to... I mean, it is, sort of, but Bloodborne is pretty well self-contained.
Yeah.
And as much as I'd love to see more of the world, I don't think we need to.
I agree there's certain games. I haven't played it extensively as you have, so I don't really have that knowledge to confirm or deny if sequel or not, but I feel like companies now are seeing these IPs that were launched in the beginning of this gen, and they're like, okay, which one did well and which one didn't? Mm-hmm. And there's a huge drop-off between ones that sold a ton, like Bloodborne, versus IPs that failed horribly, like Recore for Xbox, and they're probably just saying, hey, sequel, greenlight it, let's go.
Well, I like to think that not FromSoft, but what is the company that...
Sony?
Is it Sony?
Sony, yeah, Sony funded it.
There's like a parent company or something.
Oh, Bandai Namco.
Right, Bandai Namco. I think they understand that Miyazaki is like one of the strongest parts of the series.
Yeah. So
if they're like intentionally not having him on this, or if they are having to do something else while also trying to push out a sequel, I think it's a terrible mistake.
I agree, because it's already, history repeats itself, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Well, Alan, what about you, man?
Well, personally, on the Bloodborne thing, I don't know if it necessarily needs a sequel with the way the game ended.
Yeah.
But if they could change it so that it didn't just jump off where the last game ended, but sort of add a little bit of story onto it,
right,
I'd be all in.
Yeah, I think it would make sense to make a sequel in the same world, but it'd have to be somewhere completely different.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would be like the same sort of themes, same like Lovecraftian gods sort of thing. You can even use the same gods, just don't have it also be in Yharnam.
I got you.
Because the story there is already pretty like discovered, and it doesn't need to be done again.
So kind of like the same universe but different character in different part of the world kind of sense. So it's same universe but completely unrelated to the main story kind of deal.
Yeah.
I got you. Well, this kind of last game I'm really looking forward to at E3, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
I love the first one, and Rockstar continuously makes quality products. And the reason why we like it so much is because it takes so long to create these content. So I'm really pumped to have an old Western game, but also Far Cry apparently got leaked. There's a rumor that the next Far Cry will be an old Western style Far Cry. So that could be interesting.
Far Cry games are bad.
There's also some rumors about Assassin's Creed and
Origins.
Dead Standing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Egypt with naval combat. It's supposed to be open world for the new Assassin's Creed. So I'm excited for E3. There's a lot of big rumors for these franchises that have had taken a couple of years off.
Yeah.
And it sounds like not only are we getting games that we really wanted sequels to for a while, but we're also getting new potentially projects too. I know in Microsoft's financial report, they said they're showcasing their next wave of new games. And then, of course, Sony always delivers every year with new stuff. And the Nintendo Switch, apparently they got tons out the pipeline. So I'm pretty amped about this conference. I think it's going to be really, really fun. And we got some news about E3 towards the end of the show we'll announce too. But kind of going back to our theme, what's your favorite memory so far that you've done throughout this time with the podcast or games you played this semester? Like, what's the most enjoyable memory you've had so far?
I have a theory.
Okay.
Before we move on.
Oh, okay. Go with the theory.
I'm backing us up. I think Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
They have said on previous occasions they will not do a Japanese like ninja style Assassin's Creed because I don't know, it's too easy or something. I think they are holding it in their back pocket for when people lose interest in the series completely,
right?
And then they're like, ninjas, and then boom, everybody's playing it again.
See, that'd be kind of cool to have assassins versus ninjas, like the Templars and the ninjas.
No, you are the ninjas.
Oh, a ninja assassin.
Yeah, dude, the samurai are the Templars.
Oh,
obviously.
That feudal Japan Assassin's Creed would be, that'd be day zero. I'd pre-order it as soon as it's announced in the CGI
That's
trailer.
what I'm saying. Like everybody would buy it.
If they can just
they can totally just hold it in their back pocket forever.
There's a ton of those that they can hold. There's so many settings that Assassin's Creed work perfectly in.
Yeah, but I think everybody wants a Japanese one.
I especially do. Or that in like ancient China. There's something around that architecture in that time period where it's samurais and ninjas and just because it's super. It works with the chemistry of the gameplay, with the swords and the stealth. But you don't have the gameplay of today where it's got like, pocket pistols and all that. That's completely gone now. It's back to crossbows and bows and arrows.
And muskets, depending upon when you jump in.
True, very true. But Assassin's Creed, I'm excited to see return, and I hope it comes back strong.
I think it needs to die.
No, dude, you can't die. You have to have feudal Japan or Assassin's Creed, then it can die.
Well,
then it can go away.
Then we got to kill it, and then they'll throw it out because they have to, and then die.
I love this set. I played every single one except for I have Syndicate, haven't played it. I think I got a little franchise fatigue myself.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited for Origins. I'm really pumped for that.
I want to like them, but from what I've heard, and unfortunately I've never gotten the chance to play one.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, it's all very repetitive.
It is.
I also think that the whole like killing this hyped up terrible person and then like cradling them,
right,
and like talking about your emotions for like a good minute or two, it's a bit silly.
Yeah, the gameplay is extremely repetitive.
Yeah.
It's the typical standard Ubisoft: go claim this tower, go kill this person, etc. But for me, what drives me is the story and world. And if the world and story is not on par with what I expect from the AAA franchise, I just drop it. Like Unity, for me, I didn't play it when it was glitchy. I played it way later when they patched it, and I thought the story was really cool just because it was a French Revolution.
Yeah.
But even then, that story kind of dipped off for me because it was a standard, he's on one side and his lover's on the one, like a Romeo and Juliet type of story. I don't know if you guys have played Unity.
Did they do that again in Syndicate?
Syndicate, they were brother and sister. So if they do that,
Wait.
that'd be weird.
Hold
So
on.
I have not played Syndicate yet. All I know is that you can play as twins. That's all I know. And you're like in the criminal underground in like a steampunk era, 1830s. So
When you guys have the option, do you play as a boy or a girl?
definitely boy,
Guy.
definitely guy.
Girl, 100%.
Really? Why is that?
Because they're attractive.
So that's where we go.
Yeah.
I play as a guy because whenever I get to customize my character, I want some resemblance of me within the game world.
Yeah.
Because I want to project myself into that world in some capacity. And there's some times where I play, if I ever do a second playthrough, then I'll create a character based on that world. And I've kind of learned that through Eric, because Eric does that. Eric likes to create characters not based on themselves, but characters based off what a character would be in that time period. So like
Yeah.
Dragon Age, for instance, Inquisition. But I think that's kind of how I relate to the characters by, like, hey, this guy kind of looks like me. Now he's way hotter than I am, way more muscular, and, definitely more toned. But, it's still me in a sense, right? Hypothetically.
Technically, he's got my name.
Yeah.
He's
So-
got black hair.
Yeah, so why do you choose the female character?
Sometimes I do guys. It kind of depends, but more often than not, I do a girl. And I don't know. It's just I like making like cool looking characters, and
Yeah.
I think female characters look cool.
They do, especially nowadays, as we've gotten to the state of the world where female characters are starting to take the spotlight, and they're not treated as scenery or they're just objects in the game. They're actually like main characters and side role characters. Their armor's gotten really badass.
Yeah.
And they've gotten really, really cool. And it's not just like really skimpy outfits either, where it's like,
Yeah,
oh, here, you're
yeah.
wearing like a metal bra. Well, that's that. What? Well, I'm fully armored knight guy, and you're basically in a two-piece.
How does that protect you?
Yeah, like how does that protect you at all?
I mean, it's all from the original female video game character,
Yeah, true.
Samus.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Hey, Samus.
She was fully armored up.
She was fully armored.
And she was awesome.
She was awesome. Well, Samus
That's what I'm
was the
saying.
first mainstream.
Strong female character.
Because I just did a research report on diversity in games, and one of my sections was about females in game, female leads. Samus was the first prominent character ever created as a female for a main game, and not like a spin-off title or a side project. Like, she was the first main staple, but the thing was, she wasn't announced that she was a female until the end of the game as a secret Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of seeing from how it's an Easter egg character to having franchises like Lara Croft be the star, or this new Mass Effect where, the main character is typically a female. Now, regardless of how good the game was, these women are put in the spotlights that are actually, empowering to them and actually make sense. And they're not just statements of, hey, let's plug a girl in there. And then, all right, let's, like Call of Duty kind of does that. Like, let's just plug women in there and they'll silence everybody. But these are actually stories crafted to, appeal towards that main character in that sense. So, but kind of now we're going to go forward tracking to what I backtracked to earlier. So what kind of going down the line here, starting with Joe? What was your favorite thing this semester involving the podcast or games or just something you could just look back on and say, hey, this was my favorite memory so far in this space? On the spotlight here.
I mean, as far as games go, I just recently finished the Shovel Knight DLC.
Oh wow, okay.
I really enjoyed it. It had a lot more of a story than the original Shovel Knight did.
Yeah.
And it was a lot more like emotional, but I think it did suffer a little bit from tone problems because Shovel Knight is a very fun game, and it's not doesn't take much seriously. So when you have those serious moments, it kind of conflicts with the tone otherwise. But it was pretty good. I also really liked the Dark Souls DLC.
So is that finally finished?
Yeah.
I think Eric finished. Was that the boss battle where the guy kind of helps you out throughout the entire time and you fight him? He's got multiple forms.
The guy who sort of led you there. Yeah.
Yeah, the big sword. Was that the final boss?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched Eric play that. That looked crazy. Well, he
beat it.
He beat it with help.
Oh,
I don't know
come on.
He had two. He had
Tell
two
him to do it again.
specters. So
Tell him
no
to do it
help?
again.
well, yeah.
That's how you do it. You don't summon.
He had a couple. He went and did it. He almost beat it right at the end. And you know when the guy starts flying,
Yeah.
that's when Eric just lost. But
Oh, did he not win?
he didn't win the first time. Second time he went with summoning. But with summoning it seems so much easier.
Yeah,
But
it
see,
is,
for a
because-
casual play like me in Dark Souls, that's like the ticket for me beating this game. Like,
I mean, obviously, I don't really think it's bad to summon, but I think it's more enjoyable to not summon because it's not so much. It doesn't really change how you fight them. It
Right.
just means that you have more time to not be constantly under attack. So it's easier in a sense.
next you're not being totally bombarded by the one-on-one fights, and so you can kind of. Because when Eric told me when I was kind of, I'm actually gonna try and play Dark Souls. I'm gonna try it. No, I'll see how far I
luck.
get. Good luck, but
Yeah.
it seems like the shadow or the summoning allows you to analyze a boss
Yeah.
and kind of figure out what he does. So that way, if you wanted to go back in one-on-one, you know his movements, you know his tactics, and you can kind of. It's kind of a little cheat
Yeah.
sheet, kind of like a cheat book, or like the game guides from back in the day, kind of deal.
Summon Solaire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Alan, what about you, man?
For the podcast, I really liked episodes 2 and 4
Okay.
because the flow was a little bit better in those than the other ones.
Episode 2 is when we had Connor with us, correct? Yeah. And that was episode where we just talked nonstop. We just didn't have anything. Okay, I remember that.
But game-wise, I've picked up the Street Fighter series.
Ooh, back again.
Yeah.
Which one?
Both 4 and 5. I'm just trying to learn how the game works, how the game plays. It's a lot different from what I usually play,
Right.
and it's really interesting because you have to press like a lot of different buttons at the same time to grab, do other things, and it's interesting.
So have you gone any tournaments recently or online tournaments?
No,
or
no.
Just been practicing pretty much?
I'm just practicing because I'm pretty garbage, I'd say. Like, I'm absolute trash.
Nah, you gotta give yourself more credit than that, man.
No,
We're definitely, me and Joe are probably worse fighters than you. So I mean, if you're
So we're
trash,
talking about Smash Bros. Oh, get your ass in Smash
Oh,
Bros.
okay. You sure about that?
Yeah.
I also
Not
like
in Melee, though.
I also like arguing with Joel about Smash Bros. All the time. It makes me laugh,
yeah.
but it's also it's pretty interesting to see how other people see the games. So
Yeah, and I think that's kind of my favorite memory is seeing the different perspectives on every game, especially when Joe starts just dishing out with Eric about Dark Souls and how which boss is easy and all that, but just kind of seeing different games in different lights and how people play their games and what games they seek at, because each one of us brings to the table a different perspective on what we play, because we're all from different eras, or not eras, different corners of the gaming world. Alan's big into fighters, I'm sports shooters, Joe's more into the RPG narrative, and then Eric's kind of into whatever he wants to play. So it's just kind of a nice cultural perspective, and then at the same time bringing people into and just having a good time, and seeing people actually come up and say, hey, I actually enjoy your show. And I feel like that kind of giving back to the community is kind of drives me a little bit too. And my co-host, not going to be sentimental here, but the guys I get to talk with here are half the reason why I still do this show. So it's podcast wise, I think just the people we've met through this, and the ability to kind of get closer through the project and everything else. Gaming wise though, was probably when Star Wars Battlefront 2's trailer was announced. Just because I'm such a fanboy I am of the original 2, and it seems like this Battlefront 2 is the successor we actually wanted, because it has space battles confirmed now, it has all eras confirmed now. E3 will show, that's why I'm pretty hyped about E3, because I want to see what content there is. But if E3 delivers and they actually come through with maybe 3 planets per era, and all that stuff, and I could actually see myself getting behind EA a little bit more than usual. But I just, there's so much stuff that's happened so much in gaming these past 6 months. Like this year could be compared to 2000. 2007 was a great year for games.
yeah, this could be even bigger.
I think this year's gonna be better.
Yeah. Last year was a really bad year for games,
Right.
with a few exceptions, and this year is just like huge.
It's just where you have Persona that launched, just
Breath of the
Breath of the
Wild.
Wild launched.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn was a huge IP, brand new. It was amazing.
Nier Automata.
Nier Automata.
yeah.
Just from the Japanese market, a ton of Gravity Zero 2 came out.
Persona 5.
Yeah, Persona 5 again. And then Halo Wars 2 launched. That was a great sequel to the fall. If you guys ever played RTS, it's a great game. And then from just the Steam side, a ton of indies are starting to get spotlight too.
Yeah.
I know this month of May, there's a list of 30 indie titles that are coming out, and they look good. They're not the typical pixel art style games. They're actually full-fledged 3D, and they're actually kind of looking a lot better.
I saw one called Little Nightmares. That's a really good indie game. Yeah. I think other people should play too.
Yeah. Oh, that's the one with the butcher, right? And it's the little girl or little minion thing. Yeah. I think that style of stuff where they actually like, hey, look, you can create games based off of 3D sketches and not make, SNES style games anymore. Kind of watching indie evolve has been really cool lately too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's what was that called? A game I've been watching the Game Grumps play.
Describe
Pinstripes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what's that? I've heard that before.
It's like a horror game, sort of.
Okay.
It's kind of, it's very weird. You play as a pastor or preacher, and your daughter gets kidnapped by some I don't know, otherworldly
being.
Probably
so
demonic
being, yeah,
creature.
okay.
But he's like a person, sort of.
So it's the standard kidnapped by demonic kind
right.
of power.
But it's not so much like you fight your way through. It's a puzzle game, but there's you kind of end up being in this weird, twisted world, and it's very like, not thriller, like horror, but like not traditional horror.
It's like suspenseful almost in a sense, like kind of builds the atmosphere.
It's more of like a Lovecraftian horror. I forget the other term for it. But
So have you picked it up yet, or are you just watching it through Game Grumps?
just watching.
Is it cosmic horror?
Yes.
There we go.
I've never heard of cosmic horror.
Cosmic
It's the same
horror
thing as
is Lovecraftian in that, because I love Lovecraft in his concepts. His work is a little bit iffy sometimes.
Okay.
Because he wasn't the greatest guy, but
racist.
yeah,
Just a tad bit.
but basically Lovecraftian or cosmic horror is about how little humans can really affect the world.
Oh, okay.
And in that way, it causes like fear in the people reading the works.
There's a great essay by Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft, where he says the greatest and strongest emotion that mankind feels is fear. The greatest type of fear is the fear of the unknown.
Okay.
And that's sort of how he based all of his work, and basically he basically created the genre. So that's why people call it Lovecraftian horror.
Gotcha.
And that's basically the premise of it.
And our game's slowly starting to take that space now, or is it kind of just here and there?
Some games.
It
I really like
depends.
seeing that. I really like seeing some games are doing that now, and I think a lot of games actually not it's not like everything, but a lot of games are doing that. Like
They're trying it.
Definitely this like the Silent Hills and Silent Hills.
That's a series I miss. Side note.
And Death Stranding. Coming out. It's
Yeah.
definitely that type of horror.
We'll see when that game launches, though. I feel with Hideo Kojima and everything's been going on with him that game probably won't be coming out for a little while. But
Yeah.
I could be proven wrong. E3, I feel like this year is going to be a lot of stuff being shown off to be released this year and stuff coming out in 2018. I just think because we're slowly hitting past the point of mid-gen now, right? Because this is the fourth year of these consoles. They released in 2013, right?
Yeah.
So
we just got the Switch, which is Nintendo always releases off
Midway through. Yeah. Well, Nintendo does what Nintendo does whatever it wants to do.
But
yeah.
that probably means we'll see some new stuff pretty soon.
Yeah, so last time the Wii U launched was in 2012, or no, 2010? When did the Wii U launch?
I have no idea.
But basically
I
it
don't
was...
think 2010. That was a long time ago.
It was a lot. 2012, 2014, something like
It definitely launched a couple of years before the 1 and PS4 were shown off.
Yeah.
And I feel like with this generation, with the Pro and Scorpio being announced this year, I feel like that's the mid-gen refresh, and possibly 4 more years after that, and then the new consoles will come out. Or if they keep doing this like console upgrade where the family stays the same, or like it's always backwards compatible, that'd be a cool idea. But
they've got the new stuff at least announced. They've got the Scorpio and the whatever the PlayStation
PS4 Pro, yeah, and that
No,
launched.
they've got like a new one.
Oh, another one?
I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought they had like a new one that was just like named something else.
Yeah, it was called Project Natal.
Was it?
And, yeah, and it was a Pro that launched last year. So their family line currently is the OG Fat PS4 on the Slim, and now the Pro. And then the Xbox family is the same thing. You got the OG Fat VCR Xbox One, the Slim, and then Project Scorpio, whatever its retail name will be. And I think they're showing that off at E3 as well. That's another thing too. Hardware is going to be shown off this E3 too, which would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to talk about that and whenever that launches too, like that. Because Sunday they moved all of their conferences primarily except for PlayStation and Nintendo. Sunday is Bethesda, Microsoft, EA, and Ubisoft, all on Sunday.
Those are some pretty big studios, man.
Yeah, and then Monday is Sony at night per usual, and the PC Game Show, and then Tuesday is Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. That's June 13th through 15th, correct?
I think so.
Because I mean, the summer is huge for gaming news because you have E3, and then in July you have the huge Evo tournament.
Evo.
And then in August is Gamescom over in Europe. So I mean, summer is perfect, and then fall starts up, and then there you go. The titles start launching.
Yeah.
But what?
Do you guys have any games that you're looking forward to specifically?
Ooh, let's see. There's a lot. Trying to narrow it down to one.
There are a lot.
For a sequel, I guess I can do two. One's a sequel and one's a new IP. The new IP would be the new quote unquote successor to Saints Row that's being announced.
Oh, yeah?
Just because I love the Saints Row series. I can't think of the name. I think it's Voltron or something like that. I can't think of the name right now. But it's based in the Saints Row universe, and it's going to be shown up more at E3. And I love how Saints Row changed into the funny, cartoonish direction where it's just absolutely crazy. And I feel like with THQ dying, their brands are starting to be revived in different forms or being totally rebooted. Mm-hmm. So seeing Darksiders 3 and Saints Row come back in a light is really what I'm excited about. Sequel, kind of going back to talk about earlier, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
I love the first one, and I feel like new graphics, new setting, old Western style. We don't have enough games in that era, I don't think. And it seems like this is going to be a prequel to John Marston and not a sequel with his son. So that's the rumors about it. So we'll see. But I don't know. What are you guys looking forward to?
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
If it's true about Nintendo always releasing a Smash game for its consoles,
I'm not super sure about.
I'm not super sure either, but
the re-release.
I don't want a re-release.
Yeah, but they're gonna do it.
That's rude.
Yeah, but if they do a re-release, it's all the DLC characters, and there's rumors that they might add more.
They're gonna add like 2 more, and then that's
woof.
I'll buy it.
I'll buy it. The Smash bundle.
I love Smash, dude.
Oh, I
can't not.
If it's a Smash bundle, wherein they add like basically all the Smash games on the Switch, I would definitely buy it.
There's no way
that's gonna happen.
No way. Because
if it's just Smash 4 though, I don't know. I'm a bit hesitant.
I love the main reason I want to get a Switch is because it is perfect for like party games.
Oh yeah.
Because you can just like for Mario Kart or for Smash, you can just take it somewhere and be like, we got time to kill. Let's just set it up right here in the middle of nowhere.
Right, and there's kids on campus I've seen that have done that. They just prop it up in the student center, take the Joy-Cons out, and they're playing. Like the paper clips are playing. I've seen like 2 kids play Mario Kart because you play Mario Kart with one of the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
And then you can bring a Pro Controller and you guys could play 3-player split screen on the Switch on your tablet. The screen's really tiny, but it's the social atmosphere, And now they're adding, like with a 3DS, how they have local play.
Yeah.
Well, now they have that in the system, so once people start actually being able to buy Switches, people start carrying them around. We'll be able to play local play. Imagine just propping it up in middle, lunch hour, lunch break, just play a little bit. Like that's so smart. And I think Nintendo is killing it. I think they're going to be they're going to leave the console market in a sense and then just dominate.
Well, that's what they did for the Wii.
Yeah.
And if they release more games, I think they could definitely do it again.
Yeah, and that's what I'm excited for, because they had announced that they have a lot of stuff that's releasing this year for the Switch in the pipeline, and this Direct's going to be geared towards stuff lining up.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to talk a little bit more about the Fire Emblem Warriors game, which I'm excited for, because my little brother bought Hyrule Warriors and then
that was a great game.
Played it to death, so I got to kind of get a little taste of that. But that actually got me into the Warriors games, was that game. Now, I don't think it's the same quality as the nostalgia that Zelda brings, but it's still really cool.
Yeah.
But what?
Okay. So let me think.
You said there's a lot of games looking forward to.
There are.
You just got to remember them all.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Ooh, right. From Project Red.
Yeah.
Yep.
CD Projekt Red. Vampire, I think it's called. By.
Oh right, I saw the trailer for that.
There's 2 vampire ones. This one I think is by the guys who did Life is Strange. Strangely enough.
Okay.
Nice pun.
Yeah. It's from what I understand is you play as a vampire and you like follow people around and like find out their habits.
Interesting.
And then like
Murder them?
yeah. And I'm way too excited about this.
A little bit of sociopath.
A little bit. So you were talking
I'm
about
totally
social
okay with
horror
it.
and just like stalking
Yeah.
people. All right, Joe.
The other one is by Bandai Namco, not by FromSoft, but
Okay.
Bandai Namco. And I forget what it's called. And it's like
Banjo
like-
Kazooie would be nice for that too, but
Code Vein or something.
right, it's a Dark Souls like anime take on it.
Yeah,
I saw the
yeah.
trailer for that. It looks kind
And
of
I am a filthy weeaboo,
Yeah.
sort of. Not really.
and
but I
filthy,
like-
filthy
I like-
Dark Souls fan on
I
top
like-
of that. So
I like the art style. I'm not that much of a weeb, but I like how it looks.
Right.
So
It looked- I watched the
I think
trailer
it looks
for it.
great. Yeah. I'm excited for that too.
well, the Surge is coming out here shortly, May 16th. That's that.
Yeah, I'm not super excited because the people who did that also did
Lords of the Fallen.
Lords of the Fallen, and I don't think that was that great. I don't think people like that very much.
I'm gonna wait on it. I really want to tackle it just because the marketing behind it seems like this is a more casual way to get into that type of that franchise.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I want to play that style of game and actually enjoy it, I think that you need some warm up tiers. Because there's guys that just right away love hardcore games, like that brutal sense that you just keep getting pounded and keep coming back. Like
That's me.
I'm not a fan of that just because of time. The older I get, the less time I have,
Yeah.
and me losing a lot of hours invested in it just totally turns me off. Now, back when I was a kid, played RuneScape a ton, all those old games, and I would just countless of hours and do all that. I just don't have that anymore.
Yeah,
But those games still interest me, and I feel like that could be the gateway to me kind of getting into games like that. And plus, I love sci-fi, as you can tell with my Halo obsession. So
Yeah.
anything kind of with like mechs and all that are really, really cool.
yeah.
But that's the stuff launching this month with Injustice, Surge, and then Marvel versus Capcom Infinite's coming out here shortly too.
Yeah, that looks interesting.
So there's just so much great things on the horizon, honestly,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be fun to cover it. It's gonna be fun to play it. It's gonna be fun to see the input on it. And I think talking about horizon, kind of leading into what we're gonna do for the summer and for next fall, kind of give you guys, listeners, what we're gonna be doing. So as we announced on the Facebook page and in the previous episode, we have partnered up with KUST. They've graciously let us use their new recording studio and sound booth. So this episode is probably going to be the best, sounding quality-wise. Besides Joe always sounds good, but we get the ability to record in a brand new studio. But the part of the thing is that for season 2, we'll be launching in the fall. September, I think, is the date when we all come back, and we're going to be recording some episodes of the summer. So, but you won't get the chance to listen to that until September. However, we are going to announce a new show called Gaming with the Bros. It's going to be totally separate from that show. We're going to do it over the summer here, and then the guys are able to get and meet up. And it's going to be talking about just random things. I think one of the episodes we wanted to do was E3 and kind of get and meet up and talk about that same day. Because with Sunday, nobody's working, it's the weekend. I feel like that'd be a way for us to kind of talk about the show as, conferences are going on. So, like I said, stay tuned to the Facebook page. We'll be posting updates on it all the time, keeping you updated. But we'll be back. We're definitely going to be back for season 2.
100%.
We're definitely going to have a lot more guest stars too. I know we have a lot of great guests in the pipeline.
Yeah, I know especially 2 that are definitely coming on.
Yeah, and it's we got. We'll have a little.
We have Chris Pratt.
We have Chris Pratt.
100%.
Chris Pratt's and Kevin Hart too as well. So
if we don't deliver, it's not our fault.
yeah, we sent him multiple emails, and I kept asking him why he's not responding to me. But I'd like to think he's just waiting. He's playing hard to get. He's playing. He's the
Close personal friend
Chris
of mine,
Pratt.
Ellen DeGeneres, is coming on.
Oh, see, and I know Eric's got some contacts too with the cosplay side that are also interested in gaming.
All right.
So it will give us a more diverse cast of people, like we've been doing with our podcast, to get more insight. And it's just, we wanted to thank you, the audience, personally for giving us a chance to listen to us. And it's always fun when somebody comes up and says, hey, I listened to your show, because we made this as a little side project, and
It's a bit weird, honestly.
Yeah?
I mean, how many followers do we have? 15?
15 followers on
And
SoundCloud.
then like 450 plays?
Yeah, we got a lot of plays right now. I mean, our post engagement on Facebook has skyrocketed, and it's just the gaming community on campus we have here is kind of splintered, I believe.
Yeah.
We have pockets all over the place, and we have people that play games that typically don't talk about it too much. And I think what our show is starting to achieve is bringing those people together in a sense, either by listening or bringing them onto the show to talk about it. And it's kind of bringing people together under one umbrella. And I think we have the power and personalities as well to do that. And it's just really cool. So final note before we close off on season 1, cheap gamings. Again, we gotta always gotta do that, man. So starting off with you, Joe, what's a cheap game that you recommend that kind of captures what we've been doing here?
90% off until Monday.
Alan Wake. Here we go. So Alan,
get it before then, otherwise it's gone forever.
Yeah,
so.
Seriously. I highly recommend Alan Wake. Buy it on Steam, buy it on Xbox. Get multiple digital copies. Buy like the physical game download card code. Like make sure you have that game.
90% is a lot off.
It's like 99 cents almost. It is ridiculously cheap, and it's a AAA game for 99 cents. I mean, it came out mid 360 generation, but it's a great horror game. It's suspenseful and it's perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. I'm thinking, but like everything that I want to say is like top tier, top of the line, $60. But you'll put in a lot of time into it.
Well, say it, man.
So like I love Street Fighter 5. I love it. It's great. I think if you really like the series, you should definitely buy it because you'll spend hours grinding just to unlock other characters.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I gotta say Melee. Because
that's not cheap anymore.
No, that's not cheap. At all. That is actually
it's like $80 now.
Extremely expensive. Emulate it.
We don't endorse emulators, but if you want to play, endorse emulators.
I mean, don't sue me, Nintendo, but like you should probably.
Let's go.
If you actually want to play it in a cheap way, you should probably emulate it.
Is it at CMU or?
It's Dolphin.
Dolphin, right? Mm-hmm. Or you can get a Wii U and you can actually mod it to where you can play GameCube ISOs. I did that. I got a Craigslist Wii U for $200, and I have the entire GameCube library.
That's modifying a piece of hardware.
Perfectly fine.
It's my personal property, so I will do with my Wii U what I like to do with my Wii U in any sort of way I want to do with my Wii U. So, on that note, I know for right now that there's a lot of flash sales and summer sales coming up.
Oh man, the Steam Summer Sale.
Steam Summer Sale. I think more or less keep your eyes open for sales, because PlayStation has its Summer Sale, and then Xbox has its Indie Sale too, Indie Spotlight Sale, and its Summer Sale, and then Steam sales. Oh yes, that is where a lot of my paycheck goes into right at the end of the year. Is just buying a bunch of stuff that I'll never ever play again. But at the time, I think I'm going to. But I think this summer is going to be a ton of fun, and I think we'll do episode 2 maybe about sales and that, just for the Game with the Bros, and that'll be a little bit more later on, but it's been a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah. One more thing before we go out. I wanna ask our listeners to give us suggestions on what to talk about for episodes for season 2, because we're open to all suggestions.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I feel like we really want to get interaction with our fans and people that listen to us. And kind of going back to another shameless plug-in, but our Facebook page, one of our goals we wanted to do next season is create polls and get some interaction and say, hey, look, these are some topics we're thinking about talking about. Which one do you want the most? Or hey, if you are really into this topic and you want to come on our show and talk with us, we'd love to have you. Honestly, it's our main goal is to bring in the community together and interact and talk with us, because it spreads not only our awareness, but it spreads our knowledge too of our culture, and at the same time brings on new faces and new personalities. And we really want people to come and join us in this venture too as well. Joe, do you have any final thoughts, man?
I think the moon landing was faked.
Oh, okay.
And the moon landing is faked, guys. It wasn't real. But
I have evidence.
I'll say for Eric, because I know Eric wanted to be here and he wouldn't, but he had a blast too. So our final note, thank you guys for listening to us. It's been one heck of a year, and we have a lot in store, and we can't wait to share with you guys and be with you guys start this next year. And so with that note, I'm Nick.
I'm Alan.
I'm Joe.
And thanks again for listening to the first season of Casually Hardcore Podcast. Thanks, guys.